Apple is accusing a YouTuber of masterminding a criminal scheme to, and I quote, break into an Apple development iPhone, steal Apple's trade secrets, and profit from the theft. This isn't just another rumor or a behind-the-scenes tidbit. This is a bombshell federal lawsuit, a declaration of war from the world's most secretive tech giant against one of the internet's most prominent leakers. For years, companies like Apple have been locked in a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game with online soothsayers. But this move changes the entire board. Today, we are diving deep into the lawsuit that could shatter the world of tech leaks as we know it. We'll dissect the explosive allegations of a shadowy conspiracy, uncover the tragic story of the Apple employee who became collateral damage, and explore why this legal battle fought on American soil is Apple's most powerful and terrifying weapon yet. So, what really happened? Was this a calculated digital heist orchestrated for profit? Or is a popular content creator being made a brutal example of? Let's break down the fortress of secrecy that is Apple. For anyone who follows technology, names like Jon Prosser and Bloomberg's Mark Gurman are legendary. They are the modern-day oracles of the tech world, peering behind Cupertino's famously impenetrable digital walls and revealing glimpses of the future. From new iPhone designs to unannounced software features, their predictions, often citing anonymous sources deep within Apple, have been correct so often that they've become a genuine thorn in the company's side. Every leak spoils a multi-million-dollar surprise. Every revealed secret undermines a carefully orchestrated marketing campaign that has been planned for months, sometimes years. For a company that has built its entire mystique on secrecy and a grand sense of spectacle, a culture personally instilled by Steve Jobs himself, these leaks are more than just an annoyance. They're a direct assault on the Apple brand's very soul. And now, it seems Apple has found the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances, to strike back with overwhelming and precedent-setting force. In a complaint filed in the U.S. federal court for the Northern District of California, Apple has officially brought the hammer down on Jon Prosser, the charismatic and often controversial figure behind the popular YouTube channel Front Page Tech. The lawsuit doesn't just accuse him of reporting on a leak. It paints a vivid picture of a deliberate, malicious plot. According to Apple's court filing, the story begins with an Apple employee named Ethan Lipnick. Lipnick was not just any employee. He was a trusted individual with access to something incredibly valuable, a developer iPhone. This wasn't a device you could buy in a store. It was a digital skeleton key, running a pre-release version of the software that would eventually become iOS 26. This device was a vault containing some of Apple's most sensitive and confidential information, its future roadmap in digital form. The lawsuit alleges that a co-conspirator, a man named Michael Ramaciotti, who was reportedly staying at Lipnick's home at the time, saw an opportunity for a heist. Apple claims that Ramaciotti waited for the perfect moment for the employee, Lipnick, to leave the house. Then, he allegedly accessed the highly secured development phone. What happened next, according to the suit, was a direct and clandestine line to the leaker himself. Ramaciotti is said to have initiated a video call with Jon Prosser, essentially giving him a private, unauthorized tour of iOS 26, showing him the unreleased software in real time, feeding him details long before Apple was ready to unveil them to the world. Prosser then allegedly took this treasure trove of information and turned it into prime content for his YouTube channel, broadcasting the stolen secrets to his massive audience. In one video, he even hyped the news as, and I quote, the biggest iOS leak ever. But the allegations get even more serious, and this is where the story shifts from a simple leak to something much darker. The lawsuit claims this wasn't just a spontaneous act of opportunism. Apple alleges that Ramaciotti claims Prosser was the mastermind, the puppet master behind the entire operation. The complaint includes the truly explosive claim that Prosser promised Ramaciotti he would, and I quote again, find out a way for Mr. Ramaciotti to get payment. This single allegation is the linchpin of Apple's case. It transforms the narrative from a simple leak, which occupies a legal gray area, into a potential criminal conspiracy for financial gain. This is a truly tangled web, with accusations of theft, digital trespass, conspiracy, and betrayal at its very core. If you're finding this breakdown of a corporate creator war as fascinating as I do me a quick favor and hit that like button right now. It lets me know you appreciate these deep dives and really helps the channel grow. Of course, that is Apple's side of the story, a story meticulously crafted by a team of high-powered lawyers. Jon Prosser's version of events is dramatically, fundamentally different. He has vehemently denied any wrongdoing and insists the details laid out in the lawsuit are flat-out wrong. Taking to X, formerly known as Twitter, Prosser has been vocal in his defense, attempting to counter Apple's corporate narrative. In a direct message, he stated, "The details that Apple was given are just not accurate. I had no knowledge of how the info was obtained. He never told me he needed money, and I absolutely did not instruct him to act this out." Prosser doesn't deny receiving and publishing the information. That's the foundation upon which he's built his entire brand. But he positions himself as a passive recipient of a tip, not the active architect of a crime. This creates a classic he said, she said scenario, but one with incredibly high stakes, being played out not in the court of public opinion, but in a federal courtroom. In the crossfire of this corporate versus creator showdown is Ethan Lipnick, the Apple employee whose developer phone was at the center of the storm. The aftermath for him has been brutal and swift. He was fired by Apple. According to the company's complaint, Lipnick's employment was terminated for failing to follow Apple's policies designed to protect its confidential information, including development devices and unreleased software and features. He is the human cost of this saga, a career derailed over a leak he may not have even known was happening in his own home. He represents the stark reality that in these corporate battles, there are always casualties. So why is this lawsuit so uniquely significant? Why is this more than just Apple being angry about a spoiler? Anshul Sag, a principal analyst at the tech research firm More Insights and Strategy, calls it quite a significant lawsuit. He points out the massive disparity between what Prosser claims and what Apple alleges, especially given the suggestion that the employee, Lipnick, was completely unaware of what was going on. But the real game changer here, the element that makes this Apple's ultimate power play, is jurisdiction. For years, many of Apple's most damaging leaks have originated from its vast global supply chain, particularly from manufacturing partners in Asia. Pursuing legal action against leakers in other countries is a legal and logistical nightmare, but this case is different. This all allegedly happened in California. With this happening entirely in the US, Sag explains, the company has a lot more power and laws to support its efforts. Apple isn't just suing for a breach of contract, it's leveraging the full power of the American federal legal system. The company is arguing in federal court that two powerful US laws have been violated: the Defend Trade Secrets Act and the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Let's be clear, these are not minor statutes. The Defend Trade Secrets Act of 2016 provides a federal civil cause of action for trade secret misappropriation. For Apple, the unreleased code and features of iOS 26 are the very definition of a trade secret, a confidential piece of information that gives them a competitive edge. The second law, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, or CFAA, is even more formidable. It is primarily a criminal law against hacking and unauthorized access to computers. By alleging that Ramacciati accessed the developer phone without authorization and that Prosser was involved, Apple is essentially framing their actions not as leaking, but as a form of hacking. This is a law that carries the potential for severe penalties, including hefty fines and prison time. This lawsuit is Apple's signal to the world, a shot across the bow for every potential leaker. If you leak our secrets on our home turf, we will not just sue you, we will use every legal weapon in our considerable arsenal to stop you. For his part, Prosser claims he was completely blindsided by the legal action, stating he didn't even know about the lawsuit until he read a MacRumors news story about the filing. His public statements have been tinged with regret for the fallout, particularly for the man who lost his job over this. "I feel awful that Ethan was terminated over this," Prosser said. "I wish he had shared with Apple what had occurred, And I wish that Apple would have connected with me for more answers. I would have gladly chatted with them. Whether that chat would have changed anything is now a moot point. The lines have been drawn, and the stage is set for a landmark legal confrontation. This case will undoubtedly be watched closely by every tech company, every journalist, and every leaker around the globe. It raises fundamental questions about the nature of information in the digital age. Where is the line between leaking and theft, between journalism and conspiracy? Is Apple rightfully defending its intellectual property from a calculated plot? Or is it using its immense power to crush a content creator and send a chilling message to anyone else who dares to reveal its secrets? The outcome could redefine the rules of the game for everyone, potentially creating a chilling effect that silences sources and sanitizes the news we receive about the most powerful companies on Earth. We will be following this case every step of the way, because its implications are massive for the future of tech news and the balance of power between corporations and creators. Make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single update on this unprecedented legal showdown. You won't want to miss how this ends.